Oh, that morning's gone. So welcome everyone who's watching on this glorious Monday at the end of November. And we thought it'd be fitting to discuss Bitcoin bottoming out. What does it mean? What have we learned from identifying market bottoms? What do we know as fact that is false, and what do we know as fact that is true? Because this seems like the hot topic right now. It is. We're looking back at historical analysis from 2018 to 2020 to 2016, and we are identifying when these bottoms happened, and there's always one final capitulation, it seems, and then the market bottoms and we gradually recover those gains, the upside. Do you have anything to add on to? I mean, that's the typical theory in terms of Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, that's right. Like, what signs we're looking for to not identify that the bottom is in and definitely in, but what are some signs that indicate that we're coming close? Like you said,
just quick shout out. Hey, Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby. Hey, mate. Yeah, what are some signs? Key levels, maximum fear, fear amongst everyone that the world's coming to an end. It's the end of crypto. It's the end of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and I think look, and going on to what you're saying as well, Rhys, one of the most important things that I learned last year during the bull run is that you never, ever, 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 ever listen to experts, ever.
Especially economists.
Especially analysts, anyone that goes on social media and is calling a top or bottom, you 100% do not listen to.
Well, we've just seen in the crypto space recently, I shouldn't say recently, the last few months, analysts saying the bottom's close, the bottom's in, everyone's underwater, this, and then what do you know? A few months later, we're still in a bear market. We're still heading down.
And yeah, and look, like so again, we only talk about facts on this channel. So we're trying to disseminate. We're disseminating what is the truth, the undisputed truth, and what is disputed truth or fiction. Who knows what it is? Disputed truth or lies. Who knows what it is? It's so disorientating. And so one thing is that, like, one truth of the markets is that the human mind is so short. Like, everyone last year were talking about, what were they talking about? Bitcoin going to 100,000. Cool. Every analyst, every investor, every trader, they all were saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000. All the big ones, especially the big ones on social media. We won't name them here. That's exactly right, Satoshi Nakamoto. How you going? We do not care about bottoms or tops. And so that is one fact. You never ever listen to the experts.
What's that famous saying about trying to pick bottoms? If you try and pick a bottom, you'll get a dirty finger.
If you try and pick a bottom, you'll get a dirty finger. Yeah, that is 100% true as well.
Try and pick bottoms.
And it's the same with trying to pick a top. It is 100% impossible to pick a top. You can't pick a top. And if anyone says that, like, you will fall into this slippery slope, and I'm only talking from experience, where you'll be setting targets. So whether it's a bottom or top, you'll be like, when price gets to this level, I'm taking profits. When price gets to this level, I'm putting money into the market. When price gets to this level, I'm taking a trade. But what happens if price doesn't get to that precisely? Bobby loved picking a good bottom.
Yeah, like what is your plan? What's your plan?
Yeah.
Once you enter, you're in long-term positions. Yeah, you can have a plan that says, I will take profits at 50K. I will take profits at 60K. What if we don't get there? Are you just going to sit in that position and watch all of your potential profits disintegrate into nothing? Like, what's your plan if that doesn't work out?
Well, that's right. Yeah. So, like going on what happened last year was everyone had a plan. I'm going to take profits at 100,000. 100,000 never came. And then they were like, well, I'm going to still stick to my plan. I'm only taking profits at 100,000. And then 50,000 came and 40,000 came. It's like, no, I'm confident in my plan. I'm just going to take profits at 100,000. It's like, but now you're trying to pick tops. Now you're trying to pick bottoms. So, and we don't like picking bottoms, as we've all established.
That's right.
It leaves you with a smelly finger.
But I guess what are some signs that you would look for in a market?
So I'm just going to reconnect my chart here, guys, because it appears that it's not working.
Lacking a little bit.
There we go. We're back on there. It just lagged a bit. So here's Bitcoin chart against the US dollar. The most common one is, look, when I'm identifying a bottom, for me, it's more when I'm identifying position to put capital into the markets to buy Bitcoin for the longer term. That's what identifying. That's my main objective behind identifying a price to put money into the market. So I'm not trying to identify the exact bottom. I'm not trying to do that. But what I am looking for in terms of trying to identify some type of upside recovery, stepping away from the markets, I'm looking for maximum fear. I'm just looking for I'm looking for the same people that came to me last year. I'm looking for the same people that were coming to me last year saying, hey, should I invest in this? Should I invest in this? Coming to me now saying, cryptocurrency is dead. Bitcoin is dead. Central bank digital coins are coming out. USD Tether is failing. The whole industry is dead. That's the first thing I'm looking for. And funnily enough, a week or two ago, a guy that gave me money to trade for him came to me and he goes, mate, I just played golf with this guy. He's retired at 50. He's an investment banker, an ex-investment banker, and he's just told me Bitcoin's dead. Digital bank currencies are coming out. So I just thought to share that with you. And he's the same guy that gave me money to invest a year ago to say, mate, I need money in this market now. So, funnily enough, the signs are happening.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking for as well. So one thing like that. The other thing I'm looking for is, yes, like what you were saying, Rhys, like identifying major levels, like say on the weekly here, more so at 16,000. Where are we?
Just on that, like what we were speaking about before, I love hearing people spread maximum fear about crypto. Crypto's dead, but then big firms like JP Morgan Chase are just signing patents for digital wallets to introduce cryptocurrency.
Yes.
It's like, are you spreading the fear to drop the price so you get a good price? They have the power to do that, but so many big investment firms are turning to crypto and allowing crypto as a vehicle for their clients.
That's right, and that's what's happened in the past.
Something on the other hand, we're their actions are speaking louder.
That's absolutely 100% correct.
Yeah, it's just out of control. You just got to really pick what you pay attention to.
Yeah, and going on Satoshi Nakamoto said, yeah, that's right. I'm trying to get the bottom for long-term portfolio. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about my trading account. So how do these identifying bottoms relate back to your trading account? Well, with my trading, that was the next aspect I was going to go into. That's another way that it'll help me identify when to put money into those long terms, to try and do a bit of market timing, I guess you call it. And so like when all my long signals start popping on, when I start getting long, like across the whole market on higher time frames like the daily, to be, that's a pretty good indication for me, a pretty good signal to me to be like, okay, all right, Lou, it's time with that bit of cash you got on the side. It's time to put some of that into the market now. We've had,
and we share similar rules. Like we share similar rules about that.
Yeah.
For many traders use the 100-day or 200-day moving average. If price is below that, they're not looking to take long trades, or especially intraday long trades. I don't like using moving averages. I'd rather sort of a breakout style type trading over a set period of time. It's worth doing some research to see which days work best for you. Is it a 50-day sort of breakout, a 40-day or 30-day? But yeah, that's sort of similar to us, what we do. Hey.
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah, and that's right. And to identify that bottom, like we're not trying to identify bottoms, but like something else to be looking for is like, so all those long signals, like breakout long signals, like you said, popping on, boom, price starts breaking out, and then seeing those breakouts building and breaking out over consistent time frames, like seeing that oneness in the market over multiple contracts. After a huge fear event.
And follow through from breakout trades, or even what we teach the cradle trade. They're all trend-based trading strategies. And lately we're seeing, price interact with levels with no follow through. So you almost get triggered in, and then the trade just goes the opposite way.
Yeah.
These are things that as a trader you need to keep note of, take note of, I should say. And maybe take profits at 1-to-1, maybe take profits at 2-to-1, and don't try and bank on getting a runner, because we're just not seeing that at the moment.
Yeah. And this same pattern, like what we talked about in live trading for this morning, is what we've been seeing all year, like consolidation, expansion, consolidation, expansion. And, like one final capitulation crash before Bitcoin reverses, like that's the title of this. And it's like, we're going to see the same price action. It's going to be like, look, if price does decide to fall more, like maybe it does and maybe it doesn't. Who knows?
Well, yeah, in your eyes, what does a capitulation event look like?
Well, funnily enough, I would have thought FTX going under. I mean, to be fair, FTX going under was a pretty big capitulation event. I would have thought it was more than this, to be honest with you. Like 21,000, 27%. Okay, that's a pretty big capitulation for Bitcoin. Like that's almost 30% move. But I mean, look at this, like from Luna going from 40, 25 consolidation, boom, leg down. So really, that's a capitulation. A capitulation event for me is these big moves here and these big moves here. And we've seen that with the blow off from FTX. Look at that capitulation. That is 100% capitulation. Capitulation is, maximum fear and just those big red candles. And then, so what if I was to see a capitulation from where we are now, just looking at this chart, what's that? The capitulations we've had in year have ranged between 25 and 30%. So I wouldn't be surprised. So what does that look like? Let's go from here. So 25% puts us at 12,500. Let's just say like, I don't know, let's say 13 grand. Puts us at 13 grand. For me, that a capitulation event would be like that. It'd be like a few big days, like bang, bang. Yeah, that's what a capitulation event would be for me. And then seeing that consolidation, and the consolidation after a capitulation event like that, who knows how long it'll take. You can't do historical analysis and base it on past moves, like, because every cycle will be different, as we found out last year. but I'll probably be looking for a consolidation after that for a while, and then seeing if there was a bounce or a further sell-off. That's what a capitulation event would look for me. Like basically the crux for big red candles like that over 2 or 3 days. Like what's happened this year.
Yeah.
What would it look like for you?
Yeah, I think drastic price action like that, a big sell-off. But another thing that would contribute to me thinking the capitulation event has happened and the bear market is coming to an end is, really, really bad news coming out about projects, the space in general, and it having very little, like not affecting the market too much. Like we saw that in COVID, when COVID first hit, it was like panic selling, the market dropped 50, 60%. And then we know that things didn't really pick up for how long? 2 years while COVID lasted. But the market did. The market picked up. Despite all the bad news and lockdowns and everything, the market still picked up. So that's probably the most recent sort of capitulation event that we can relate to. But yeah, I think when there's no sellers left, when there's 100% panic and fear in the market, there's no sellers left to drop the price, and it's just smart money sitting on the sideline, hoping to grab a bargain and invest at low prices. And then the market starts to pick up. I don't think we're there yet. Some things that will contribute to that are inflation data and interest rates. It looks like they still have a lot more work to do. Just looking at some charts now. Yeah, the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ was made up of majority tech stocks, and that's just been performing poorly this year. Had a huge run up the last 2 years because, as everyone knows, we saw a huge expansion in the tech stock industry, new companies starting, employing, going through a huge employment cycle. And now, it's just selling off. And we hear about people, Twitter laying off people, tech stocks. I wouldn't say crashing, just going through a nice healthy pullback. And until that really starts to pick up, I think that'll be another sign. What was it? The S&P. So the S&P, still in a downtrend. We've got a lot more work to do there. I'm interested to see what the next interest rate announcement is and the CPI data, and see how that affects the market. If we do get we saw that the last interest rate bump didn't have a huge effect on crypto, if at all.
Yeah, and it's kind of like playing into what you were talking about before, like, as this news comes out, it stops affecting price at one point. And so, like, you can have such bearish end of the world news, but at some point it just stops affecting price. And that's a really good way, like you said, of identifying when the sellers are just completely exhausted. There's none left. Can't sell anymore. And yeah, like look at the S&P 500, very big, healthy pullback, bear market rally, bear market rally, pulling back up. Like, who knows where we go. But yeah, seeing if like the next interest rate and inflation announcements affect the market at all will be really interesting to see, like in traditionals.
We've got Satoshi Nakamoto saying DCAing in, DCAing out. I agree to an extent. I don't think DCAing is the best approach without a solid plan. Like DCAing in at key levels would be a better approach than just, buying Bitcoin every 2 weeks or something. If you look at it and do the maths, if you were buying Bitcoin every 2 weeks since the top through this bear market, you would be well underwater. So DCAing has its time and a place, I think. During consolidation periods like this, DCAing probably is a really good strategy.
And the thing with DCAing, it's like you have to have a strong stomach for the price swings. You have to have a lot of discipline, but you also have to remain decisive enough so when the time comes to take profits, you actually do take profits, and you don't get caught like a deer in the headlights, let's say. When I first got involved in crypto quite a few years ago now, that's what happened to me. So I'm just, again, learning from experience. Happened to everyone. But yeah, you can DCA every fortnight or every week, but if you do like to dollar cost average into Bitcoin, doing it around key levels, understanding the dynamics that drive a market, like it changes the whole concept, the whole outcome of your returns. Like imagine DCing into Bitcoin even at the price it is now compared to 40,000, between 40,000 and 25,000 dollars.
Yeah,
like the difference is huge, monumental.
I think next year is going to be very interesting in crypto. We need a few things to blow over. Interest rates to steady, inflation to steady. But yeah, next year will be super interesting because we've got the Bitcoin halvening in 2024, and historically we've seen that Bitcoin does have a rally around those halvening events. Again, not financial advice. I wouldn't suggest just buying because the halvening. There's a lot of work that needs to be done for the halvening to work. One being the miners. At the moment, data is saying that the Bitcoin miners are just underwater. So it's costing them more to mine Bitcoin than what it does to sell that Bitcoin. I believe that they would have a fair bit of Bitcoin in reserves that they'd be selling to stay afloat, but Bitcoin really needs to stay above around the $16,000 to $17,000 mark for them to be profitable. And during the halvening event, it's going to make it twice as hard for miners to mine Bitcoin. So essentially, that price needs to double for miners to be above water. I think that's one important aspect to keep in mind coming into next year and the end of next year, just to see how the miners are reacting to price action.
For sure. Yeah, it's going to be really exciting going into next year. I'm pumped. Like, yeah, it's going to be good. Like we'll see what happens. And again, going back to the crux of it, guys, like to be in the business trying to predict the future, you will lose every single time. You'll get stressed out. You won't make the right decisive decisions in the moment. Don't just forget about trying to predict what's going to happen.
Everyone on social media wants to be right. They want to predict the future and be right.
Everyone wants to predict. Yeah.
If you claim enough things, like you'll be right some of the time. What's that saying? A clock is right twice a day. A broken clock is right twice a day. You know, if you claim that the bottom's in enough times, you will get it, and then everyone will think that you're a genius because you picked the bottom. Well, what about the 50 times before that you tried to pick the bottom and you're wrong?
Yeah, where in reality, all you should have been doing is not caring about the future and actually focusing on the present, which is the price action in front of your eyeballs on the chart and profiting from it.
And from a trading perspective, have rules in place for looking for long trades. We don't care where the price is on Bitcoin. We're not trying to pick the bottom. I think that's what we need to emphasize. We're not trying to pick the bottom. We just need rules in place that will determine if we're looking for longer term intraday trades to the long side. And we mentioned that before. It's whether that's a breakout strategy or a moving average strategy. When price is above the 200-day moving average, that's when I'll start to look to DCA into my longer term projects. But while it's below that, I don't see the point. That could be a strategy. There's so many strategies out there. Just do some research and come up with a strategy.
Yeah,
not trying to pick
and come up. And in going on that, like the importance of a trading plan, like yes, come up with a plan, but your plans need to contain rules. Especially if you are going to DCA average into this market, which is fine. Yeah, dollar cost average into this market, sorry, which is fine. Have a plan to follow, but don't have set that you can't follow that plan with such rigidity that if things don't go according to plan, you don't flex and adapt to the situation as well. So you need need to bear that in mind when establishing a plan and following.
Yeah, for sure. I think we look at wrapping this up, but yeah, the title of this video is, you know, capitulation event before Bitcoin reversal. Do we think it's happened? What do you think, Lou? Do you think the FTX collapse was the capitulation event? Do you think there's another one coming?
Well, to be completely honest with you, as you know, I stopped at the beginning of this year trying to pick when the next bull market comes or when the next bear market ends. Like, I don't even spend one iota of my time trying to guess that, because it's impossible to guess. Was FTX the second largest exchange in all of cryptocurrency? Was that the capitulation? God damn, the second largest exchange has gone down. The guy that was touted to be the youngest billionaire on earth. Geez, it smells like to me like that's an enormous event. That's an enormous deleveraging event. What else could happen to cause another capitulation or could it just be price action? I don't know. All I know is not these things do take time to play out, and it's not going to be like something. It's not going to be something that just happens in a week. Like we see a big capitulation event in a week, and then the bull market starts coming back. Like, from experience, it does happen over a couple of months. It doesn't mean that'll happen again over a couple of months, but it does take time for these things to play out. That's what my thoughts are. Whether we go a leg lower and then go up or not.
Yeah, I think we just need to let the dust settle and see if any other exchanges come into trouble, whether they go under or not. We are seeing exchanges show proof of reserves, which is really positive for exchanges. But yeah, I think when the dust settles and some good news comes out about crypto, we're going to see a massive bullish week. And once we do see a nice bullish week, you'll see everyone come out of the woodwork and be like, all right, bear market's over. I'm going to buy. I'm going to start buying. And they start buying Bitcoin, just pushing that price up. And
then I'll start saying, oh, who bought Shiba at 0.5 cents during the bear market? Oh, what do you mean you didn't buy it? And then all these people will come out. Like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy every time. And all those people that were claiming they picked the bottom will now say, that's a good sign to know if the bottom's in. All the experts saying that the bottom's in.
Yeah, for sure. But for now, I think we won't focus on picking bottoms. We'll focus on price action and what the charts are telling us. And at the moment, the charts are telling us that we're still looking quite bearish on the weekly chart anyway. But the daily, 100%. very flat on the daily, 4 hour, even more flat. So again, we could go either way from here.
100%. Yeah. And look, for now, momentum's with us to the short side. So
that's right.
Let's see if the move, if it does follow through, and give us some trends to trade.
For sure. All right. Well, on that note, I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Toshi Nakamoto.
Thanks, everyone.
Super Derpies. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. Just on a final note, we are running our Cyber Monday sale, 50% off everything. So if you haven't done our trading courses or would like to join our private community, feel free. There is a link in the description below. So if you need any help, jump in our Discord channel, reach out to myself or Lou or Craig or any of the other traders in there. We'll be happy to help.
Cool. Thanks, Rhys.
All right.
And thanks for everyone tuning in. Take care.
Bye.